Mike, what are you eating? That looks amazing.
Oh, this? It's just a delicious Elsinore burrito from El Ranchito Taco Shop.
Is that nacho cheese sauce and hot Cheetos?
Nacho cheese, hot Cheetos, and their mouth-watering carne asada. And I'm dipping it in their creamy guac.
Creamy guac. Yum.
Giggity.
I guess this is a great time to remind everyone that if they're ever in the Inland Empire area, visit Ray at El Ranchito Taco Shop.
Yeah, totally. Check them out on Facebook.com/Ranchito Elsinore.
Or on their Instagram at Ranchito Elsinore.
Now I want me some Elsinore burrito and some of that creamy guac.
Giggity.
I can always give you some of my creamy guac, Jake. Just ask.
El Ranchito Taco Shop, Lake Elsinore.
More than just great Mexican food.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Podcast where we talk about anything and everything in the automotive industry. Happy Friday, bitches. We made it through another week.
Yay!
Hashtag tell the bell. Hi, bitches.
Hi.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm thirsty.
No svidon, you fuckers.
But I hear that you guys are doing this special beverage tonight.
We
Oh.
are indeed.
We are.
Whoa.
Oh, something happened.
What are we shooting?
What the hell did you do, Mike?
Hello?
Trying to make adjustments on the fly, but I can't make it work any
Jesus
better.
Oh,
Christ.
this is fine.
Eric's remoted in.
That's all right. Oh, hi. Yes, I'm off site.
We're cracking beverages, bitches. Oh!
We are cracking beverages. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
I'm ready. Ready?
One,
You go first. Okay.
2, 3.
A 3.
Fuck yeah.
Why did that sound like that was
Fuck yeah.
all in unison?
Because we counted to 3.
Because we're such a well-oiled unit that we just know what each other's doing. Which
I forgot.
I'm well oiled.
Did you grab my tall can from the car?
I'm drinking a
It's in the fridge?
michelada and I forgot to turn it upside down.
I love you.
I'm sure it'll be okay, Eric.
What are you drinking? A michelada?
Yeah.
You like those.
I fucking love
No,
micheladas.
it's pure coincidence. I had one in my fridge downstairs last week when I was sick, and this is what my family brought this week. So
But let's ask
it's been
the
pure coincidence.
real question this week. What is butter?
What is butter?
What is butter?
See, Michael?
What is butter?
What is butter?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
I can't believe it's not butter.
I can. Jake is referring to my Omega Mart t-shirt that I'm wearing today.
Yes.
What the fuck?
It's Meow Wolf.
Oh, I don't know what that is, but okay.
It's an art thing that's very cool.
It's
If you
pretty-
guys are in
pretty
Vegas,
sweet, I guess.
you should see it. But who,
Michael, you need to pour us nasty beverage.
Eric, who are you and what do you do?
Oh yeah, we'll do
yes.
introductions
Hi,
while Mike
everyone.
pours.
I'm Eric Montenegro.
Hi, Eric.
Heavy line technician for Ford Motor Company for almost 5 years. I love my job. And that is the exact statement that I say to myself every single day just to get through the week.
Yes.
I'm sure you guys can relate on some level.
Seriously.
And to my left is the amazing, gorgeous, beautiful redhead. Oh.
Hello, it is I. Pause for ASMR. Malort pouring.
And we're doing this again? Oh,
Did I fuck it up? I'm Allie. I'm a warranty administrator. I do administrative warranties for both Volkswagen and Mazda.
We got a
Maziadia. Nos Maziadia.
Satya.
Mazda. And to my left is the silky toned, beefy man. To my left, he's so beefy. His name is Jacob Rikus.
Duh.
The.
Hey, Daddy.
Hello, everybody. Jake is here doing things at the podcast. I'm going to drink horrible beverage now.
Are we doing it?
All right. Cheers.
Before I throw up in my own mouth, I am service advisor. I am depressed most of the time in the office. But to make things better, I spin around very fast in my office chair.
Just like a typical service advisor, right?
And to my left, the man who keeps me in the gulag is Michael Serra.
That's very funny, Jake. Hi, my name is Mike Serra. I'm a technician at an automotive dealership. And to that,
He does Fjord.
we say thank you for listening to us, and we're going to take a shot of the world's worst liquor. So here you go, guys.
Wait, hold on. Let's get it up
Cheers,
to the
bitches.
microphone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh.
Cheers.
Wait, let me do it. I feel like we could do better. Ready?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's good soundscaping. Very good, guys. Very good. Oh, here.
Ali is the ASMR expert.
Why do I feel like each one of these is a different shade of piss?
Let's go.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Fresh bottle.
That is just as terrible as I remember it. Bleh.
Oh, fresh bottle make your dick turn into little tiny worm.
And that's,
It tastes like perfume.
again,
Mike
that's
is just completely unfazed. Like your face does not change.
I got so hot.
that's thanks
That's what you
to
call a professional alcoholic, ladies and gentlemen.
that is thanks to Kevin Waters, and that bottle is straight from Chicago, Illinois. So we want to thank Kevin Waters for donating that terrible
Thank you, Mr.
liquor.
Waters.
If anybody would like to try Malort, go down to local 7-Eleven and let homeless man piss in your mouth. Wow.
Wow, Ali.
It's trying to come out. It's so terrible.
Well, not over my couch, please.
What he said.
That's what she said.
So
Hey, Allie, you got a nice on you, don't you?
Do you understand what's happening?
no, I have no idea.
Thank you, Eric. I can always trust on you.
Yes, I'm sure some of the listeners know.
I'm sure they do too. But anyways, moving on, Michael. Sorry to interrupt.
Confused.
So
You know,
Is this a cry for help?
these hot summer months, I'm really grateful for the air conditioning. Let me tell you.
It.
Hey, is that nice being able to have air conditioning on while we're recording, Eric?
Oh, it's great. I love it.
technically,
Nice.
it's not on while
Got
we're
a
recording.
fan going in here. I've got the AC set at 68. I'm good.
Why not 69?
It's a far superior number.
Nice.
So speaking of air conditioning, I had an interesting customer states this morning.
What did they state?
What a coincidence.
I saw on the appointment sheet in the morning that there's a 2022 F-150 Power Boost, which is the hybrid, right? And the
Hi,
guy,
Daddy Vic.
the
Is that
guy's-
who it was?
No,
Oh.
Is Power Boost basically like a vegan turbo, if we're going to put it in layman's terms?
no. I mean, I like that analogy. That's pretty good, but no.
It's that. What's funny about that is, although it is a hybrid truck, it's
God,
also
that thing-
a twin turbo
Crispies.
V6. So it's got both. You're saving the environment and you're polluting it all at the same time.
Do they actually have an actual turbo in them? The Power Boost?
Twin turbo.
Yeah.
It's a twin turbo?
Yeah, it's the
turbo, baby.
3.5, I believe, right?
3.5 twin turbo.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, shit.
Oh yeah.
It's not like the electric
I don't know why.
turbo.
I don't know why. Oh, Jesus.
I fucking hate
Nice
that. Makes
callback.
me so mad.
I, for some reason, didn't know that Ford did twin turbos except in the Raptors and wait, Raptor twin turbo? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Any of our V6s that are the
style.
EcoBoosts are twin turbos.
Really?
Yeah.
I just thought it was one turbo.
Nope. Yeah, twin.
No.
Twins,
2 times.
Twins are always better. Oh!
No. Stop. No.
So anyway, so this customer is complaining about a clunk when when taking off from a stop, and some I don't remember how he actually worded it to me, but something about the air conditioning, like it had demons in it or something like that. It just kind of did what it wanted to.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, sure, I'll come up to the drive and I'll take a look at this thing.
The power of frost compels you.
So we go out for the road test, and I'm discussing with the guy, like, so what's going on? And he's explaining to me about the clunking noise. I'm like, okay, so what's going on with the AC? He's like, well, you see, if I turn the AC off, it still keeps blowing. And he presses the button that says AC.
Oh, fuck me.
Well,
Hello.
yeah, McFly.
Why?
So for those of us that don't know, that button that says AC on your dash literally is the control to tell it to blow cold or not blow cold. It doesn't mean turning the system on or off.
Okay, mine has a power button.
So does his.
No, we have a power button and an AC button.
I know. I'm
Oh, okay.
saying the power button shuts the blowy part off
Yes.
for the lane
The
min.
blowy part.
The part that
That's
goes.
also Allie's mouth.
Well,
the
that's-
blowy part.
Well,
That sounds like a title for an episode.
the blowy
The
part.
blowy part.
Lowy part. Yep, right there.
Yes, the power button shuts off the blower motor.
So then he's also trying to tell me that not only does the system not shut off, but when he's driving down the road, sometimes the fan cuts out and it starts blowing warmer air than colder air. And I said,
Is this with the AC button turned off?
so I said, and I looked down at the dash, where he's got the AC controls, and I said, well, sir, you've got it in the auto mode at like full blast, so it's going to regulate the interior, temperature of your cabin based on the temperature sensors and all that kind of stuff. So yes, the fan will stop blowing as much, and the temperature will change from the discharge vents to keep the temperature cool in your cabin for as or warm for as best as the system can operate. Well, no. My son's a mechanic, and he told me. I said, sir, I'm just telling you, this is how this system works. It's not an argument. He's like, well, I never had it like that. I said, sir, you said that it was set up in this way with these lights and these buttons on. He's like, oh no, I must have been mistaken. I said, sir, if you'd like, we can take a look at the owner's
It's
manual.
ma'am.
Yeah, he's like, I said, if you'd like, we can take a look at the owner's manual, and I can show you, how this system works. He's like, no, it's too confusing. It's in the dash, and he's an older gentleman. I'm like, I understand that you mean that it's in the
What?
well, so it's a 2022, so the owner's manual is in the display in the center console thing.
It's all digital.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all digital.
On the
There's
screen,
no
yeah.
use to not. I mean, there's no
It's the
excuse.
same thing with the new Mazdas.
to
You
not
don't
look
get
at
you
it.
don't get a book anymore, but people still order the $300 manual so that they have
BMWs, Lots of
literature.
manufacturers are like that. And so I told him, I'm like, I'm trying to tell you how this system works and its normal features and operations. He's like, well, look, just trust me. We'll put it in the mode that you say, and I'll tell you, it's going to cut off. So I'm driving around town for 10 minutes, and he's like, oh, of course it's not going to act up now. Yes, you're right. It's not going to act up now.
You're correct.
And so as far as the the harsh engagement from or the bump coming from a stop, he's purely just talking about when the gasoline engine starts, because the gasoline engine isn't running all the time. So when the gasoline engine starts, it's a hybrid. When the gasoline engine starts, you feel the gasoline engine starting in the vehicle, just like any other car. But of course,
It's normal operating condition.
yeah, but of course, because you're already driving forward and then you feel this small jolt inside the vehicle, you think that there's something wrong with it, but it's really just the gasoline engine starting again, like in
Bless
any
you.
of our other cars. So, it was just a kind of a big MPF. And, at the end of the road test, I was still able to kind of massage the guy over and explain to him, listen, I can show you in the owner's manual that this is how these systems work. And then my favorite thing was he asked me, what's the button next to the fuel door release? I tried to look it up in there, but there's nothing that talks about it. I'm like, well, when we get back to the dealership, I'll hop out and I'll take a look at it for you. And so I believe it's above the fuel door release button is a button that looks like the pickup truck with what looks like a sun coming up off the top of the roof.
No. You know what a lot of people describe that as?
What?
Is flying squids.
Hashtag sell the bell.
Yes. It looks like,
Yeah.
it looks
Flying
like
squids.
Squid.
Yes. Okay. So that's another episode title. Also, so I had to explain to him what that was. It's just like,
What is it?
I'm sorry. I didn't even get to that point. It's the cargo
Right
light.
over the bed.
Yeah. It's the cargo light in the over the
Oh,
roof of the truck.
Oh, it can be
the
the
squids
bed.
are
It can be,
illumination.
it can be the flying spaghetti monster button.
There you go.
That's a great song.
I actually have a spaghetti analogy. That are you done with your
I
story?
love spaghetti. And
Well,
yes.
before you do your analogy, I've a interesting AC story, real quick and short.
All right, I'm timing you.
That's what the fuck. I had a really nice customer that I've gotten to know pretty well. Started off as a really angry customer, and I was the lucky one who was up for that ticket. So, you go into it and you're like, great, I've got a wild one, I've got a hot one. He's already pissed. We actually ended up bonding on a particular level with cars and stuff like that. And now he's a super cool customer. And anytime there's a problem, he comes in and he's super happy and he asks for me. So it worked out. But he came in that day and his AC wasn't working. And this is when it started to get hot. It was a little bit before it got real bad, But it was starting to get to that point where no AC is like hell. You just don't want to deal with that. And, we diagnose it and we find out it's the compressor. So no big deal. We say, hey, you need a new one. And he decides he doesn't want to do it. And he takes off. And then it gets hot. And I get a call from him 2 weeks later. And he goes, Jake, fuck this. Order the compressor. when it shows up, call me, bring me in. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Was that expensive piece?
So we bring him in. We do the repair. Blows icy cold. Everything's good to go. Yesterday, he pulls into the drive. And even from inside of my office, looking out the tinted windows and in through his slightly tinted windows in his car, I can tell he's sweating bullets.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I go out and he steps out and he is drenched. It's like, and for whatever reason, he's driving with the fucking windows up, which is already weird. And I hop into his car and he's got the air blowing and the AC button's pressed and it's turned as low as it can go. And it is blowing wicked hot air. And the windows are up. And I go, and I'll call him Steve. And I'm like, Steve, what's going on, man? It's like, I can tell there's AC issues, but why? And he lives in a town that's about 20-ish minutes away.
Is it hotter town or colder town?
Hotter town.
Okay.
And
Can we just call it the Valley?
Yeah, sure, the Valley. And I go, Steve, why is this? I know the AC's messed up again, but why is this blowing like this? I'm like, did you just drive all the way from your house with this blowing on? He's like, yeah, I wanted to make sure that it still blew hot when I got here because every time I do it, it blows cold. I'm like, you drove with this blowing, throwing out 87 degree heat minimum with your windows up? And he's like, well, yeah. I'm like, okay.
Are you trying to make weight for a fight or something?
Right. And I'm all like, do you want some cold water? He's like, no, I'm good, man. Everything's fine.
So you get
and
nothing.
So I kind of look underneath and the blower motor's fine and all that. And it's an older Mazda 3, 2011.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think you mean a rolling sauna.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, it's happened to me 3 or 4 times in the past couple of months. We've replaced compressors and when that happens, the AC's fine, but then the expansion valves go.
Oh, because there's contamination.
Correct. So I told him, I'm like, Steve, I'm almost positive your expansion valve went. And I'm all like, you're not getting AC until we get it ordered.
Is that an issue of the repair then? Like they did something to, they didn't fully like evacuate. I don't know.
So if a compressor fails, typically there's 2 repair methods. You can either flush the AC system, which never works in my experience, or you can replace all of the components that touch the refrigerant, which is the recommended repair. Because
Jesus, that's way more extensive than just like, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with my life.
it's the frog in your throat. This makes for great audio content.
I'm back.
By the way.
It's still like that. I don't know what's going on.
We're working through it. It's okay.
Oh, I know what will help.
We'll call it the vocal fry episode.
Oh my God, don't even. I don't have any vocal fry, you guys.
So I told him we ordered it. He left strangely happy and he kept it on blowing with the windows up.
Just so he could make sure he could duplicate the issue to you.
Steve's a very interesting man. Great guy. I just think he's got a couple of screws loose. But anyway, so that's my fun little AC story. I hopped in that car for like 20 fucking seconds. I'm like, nope, it's hot. I don't even care if it starts blowing cold. There's something fucking wrong. I ain't sitting in this fucking thing.
Yeah.
So, I was talking yesterday with my parts manager about everybody's favorite topic. One-time use parts. Right? So, what had happened was we have a lot of warranty extensions for the airbag clock spring. This is in Volkswagen side specifically.
Because Volkswagens are pieces of shit.
Yeah, but they have a great warranty.
Yeah, because they're pieces of shit.
Side note, I told my manager in Mazda what the Volkswagen new vehicle limited warranty time period was, and he was like, no, it's not. He's like, check. It's not that. I was like, no. It is. It's 6 years, 72,000 miles.
Jesus.
And he's like, well, that's why you're so busy all the time.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive. I think only Hyundai offers a more extensive warranty period than that, right?
Yeah, so it like started to go up, and then like it's starting to. I think they're ratcheting it down a little bit, especially since
So ratchet.
So,
Nurse Ratchet.
how did you know my nickname? Anyways, so the one-time use parts. So we do these warranty extensions, airbag, clock spring. When you do the clock spring, you have to replace the steering wheel nut. You have to replace the nut. Okay, every single time, no matter what. Doesn't matter if you think you need it or not.
That makes sense. It
You
probably
have
holds the
to
steering wheel
fucking
the
do
car.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a I don't know. There's a reason you're only supposed to use it one time.
Yield, torque
Torque
to
to
yield or
yield.
whatever.
Exactly. I'm so sorry. Anyways,
Let me clear my throat.
let me clear.
You have to apologize. I haven't had a cigarette in 15 minutes.
So I try to cast a wide net when something like this happens, because each department says it's everybody else's fault. So yeah, that doesn't help me at all. Something has to get done. So I went to parts and I said, hey, when you hand out the clock spring, tell them they have to do the nut. Service. Hey, you have to do the nut.
Put that nut in my hand.
Service. Same thing. Talk to all the techs. Talk to my manager. Okay, great. When I was talking to parts, I talked to the manager first, and he says, well, we had a basically 45-minute conversation about how it's not parts' responsibility to make sure that the parts were on the car. And he said, let me tell you this, Allie. Let's say you go to the grocery store and you want spaghetti for dinner. So you go to the grocery store. Is it the store's responsibility to make sure you got the marinara sauce?
Nope.
No, it is not.
Nope.
And I was just like, oh my God.
Thank you for that. I will use that forever from now on.
Yes,
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. And so I went into the bay of a friend of the pod, Will, and
Hi,
I
Will.
said, I have the best fucking podcast fodder, bro. Like I'm so excited about this analogy because it's true. It's everybody's responsibility. It's really not as much do you guys order your own parts?
Yes,
at the
course.
dealership? So that's not how it works at our dealership.
No, I have to put in a parts requisition form. I don't order them from the companies, but I order them from my dealership.
So the way that techs get parts, and will write into the show if I'm wrong, but the way techs get parts is they go up to the window and they say, I need these parts. And then they either get them or whatever happens at that point.
On the Mazda side, the techs walk over to the parts department, say, this is what I need. They get ordered, and then we as the riders get the order slip.
But ideally, they should have like a computer where they have access to the system and they can, like Mike is saying, do an order form or whatever. And then when the parts arrive, the parts department calls them and says, hey, your parts have arrived or whatever. And you go get them and you put them on the fucking car. So this whole thing, I actually told one of the technicians, hey, what's the deal? Are you supposed to replace this nut on this clock spring? And he goes, oh, well, parts never has them in stock. So why would I hold up a whole repair for one nut?
Because it won't get paid.
I'm like, what the actual fuck is going on? So I call parts department and say, hey, how many nuts do you have in stock? We have 45 nuts in stock.
Because they've never been charged out or put into the repair orders, right?
Well, they are getting charged out.
But they're not being used.
Allegedly.
She's saying no, of course not.
Yes, exactly. So I go to Will and is the power about to go out?
Please don't say that.
We've already lost Eric, so
Yeah, what
else could go
happened to
wrong?
him?
Eric actually texted all of us. He said, Wi-Fi issues, I'll be back up and running. He's like,
okay.
keep going, I'll be back for the
He
second
actually
half.
just sent me a text message. No, the Wi-Fi isn't working.
Okay, so
Okay, we might have lost Eric.
Eric has
we'll
been
catch him
lost.
the second half.
Yeah, Eric has been
So-
lost at least for the first half.
I go to Will and I tell him this analogy, and he's like, yeah, that's great, except for I feel like recently the process has changed. And now what's happening is I used to go to the store and I used to get meal kits, right? I say, I want spaghetti. They say, great. Here's a kit that has your spaghetti, your marinara sauce, all the shit you need. And now when I go and ask for my spaghetti kit, they just hand me raw pasta. I feel like that's what's happening. And I thought that was like a very good
Yes, it was.
back and forth.
Well, and on that, me and you talked about that similarly to how you were saying that. Wait, did you talk about what happened with you losing get the money?
No,
Okay, so we'll keep this brief. Allie didn't.
that's accountability.
Where? Oh, right down there. So I'll touch on this briefly. Allie made a mistake that could have cost, but she's good at what she does, so she can recoup it. But same thing that I said was, as a service advisor, where I hold myself to a certain standard when we use that analogy, was one of the riders on the Volkswagen side had a job that was for warranty, and it was a rental car claim that Allie was supposed to, put it in, and then you get the money paid. If it's not, you don't get paid, yada, yada, yada. So the same thing, Allie goes,
Kind of.
well, and you'll get more. I didn't want to touch on
Go
it too
ahead.
much, so you can explain. But Allie goes, it's my fault that this didn't get claimed. And I said, no, that's bullshit. Because as a rider, same thing. It's like Allie, as herself as a warranty admin, is like the store. She has everything you need in her arsenal to make whatever recipe you need. But as either the tech or the writer, it is your responsibility to make sure that there is everything, you have everything you need to make that meal before it gets made. So it's like, yeah, granted, things didn't go right, but it's like same thing. If you go to the store and you fucking forget something, it's not the store's fault. So, but
Right.
you can touch on that. But it made me angry that you blamed yourself when realistically it's not your fault. And I would have left a very angry yelp if I could, but I couldn't.
Are you going to prepare for this one? Or is this Eric's?
No, we want to talk about the Mustang kid.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
you were clearly listening to Jake's amazing segue that he just did.
I was busy trying to communicate things with Eric, trying to
That's
get him back
fine.
up
You know what?
online.
It's okay. We understand.
Okay. Anyway, since that's not going to happen before the break, I'll touch on the Mustang kid. It's a pretty short and sweet story.
Okay.
So, customer comes in, I believe, on Monday, and
Sweet God.
no appointment. Later
Like
in the
you
day,
do.
yeah,
Like you do.
No appointment later in the day. My check engine light's on.
Oh, wow. Fucking the trifecta.
Service advisor is talking to the young man and is asking, so the check engine light's on. Are there any drivability issues? Is the check engine light flashing? Well, I don't know what that means. Are you experiencing any issues with the car? Well, yeah, the check engine light's on. No, I mean,
No.
is the car driving weird? No, it seems fine. Okay, well, I mean, that's good. Unfortunately, because you don't have an appointment, it's going to be a little bit for us to get, you in, but we'd love to, be able to take care of you. Do you have time to leave the car with us? Well, what's that mean?
What?
Do you have time to leave the car with us? No, I have rental coverage. Well, unfortunately, you don't have first day rental coverage. And if the concern is covered under warranty, then we can for sure get you in a rental car, but we have to have the vehicle diagnosed first. And unfortunately, it's probably not going to happen today, but we'll do our best. So the kid walks out and, disappears. And the service advisor is kind of like, what?
Okay.
So then the salesman comes to talk to the service advisor and says, hey, this guy's just walking around the lot. Is he okay? Well, I don't know. He walked away. So comes back in and says, okay, fine. Let's go ahead. But let me get a rental car, and I'll pay for it on the first day. It doesn't matter. So we call up the rental car agency. They come and pick him up. We write the vehicle up. The vehicle gets diagnosed pretty much the same day. We send it, but before all that, I skipped the part. Before all that, we get a phone call from the rental agency, and they're trying to say, "Hey, this guy's requesting a BMW." what can we do?
I am so not surprised about this.
So the service advisor says, "Well,
What type of Mustang, by the way? Brand spanking new?
new enough,
New enough.
Yeah.
Spoiled ass brat.
So put the customer on the phone. Sir, Ford only pays for $40 a day for rental. If you want to go above and beyond that, that's fine, but that's your responsibility. That's your responsibility. But we're giving you this rental coverage just because we're trying to help you out, all this kind of stuff, because it had already gone a little bit south from there. The kid, we're trying to get information from him about what's going on with the vehicle. And he says, he just keeps saying, he doesn't know, and then walks away.
Well, then why is the car here if you don't know what the fuck is wrong with it? I'm sorry.
The check engine light's on. Fine, the check engine light's physically on. Let's take a look at it. It doesn't matter. Look, if you need a rental car, you can pay for it if it's not covered under warranty, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it didn't need to go to that point. But so then we come to find out that, after we get him situated in a rental car that that is covered by our policy, his mom wrote a Yelp review. So what happened was that when we told him that we couldn't get him done that day, he called his mommy walking around the lot, which is when the salesman saw him. And the mom went and wrote a terrible Yelp review because the son said something about that we had told him to go to another dealership, which was totally untrue.
Of course.
Because I was called up to the service drive to A, go on a road test if the car had drivability issues, but B, be there to look at this car because he didn't have an appointment and the other department was backed up and I didn't really have anything going on. So we were ready to go. It didn't matter. We were just trying to prepare him that it may not get looked at today. Are you okay with leaving the vehicle with us?
Yep.
Right.
So just spiraling out of control already. So the mom leaves a terrible, nasty Yelp review about how we're age discriminating against her young son.
Oh, fuck
and
me.
we told him to go to another dealership because we didn't want to work on the car. And then when he wanted to go get a rental car, we said no. And like all this untrue stuff.
You said, no, you can't have a premium vehicle that doesn't match the vehicle that you dropped off.
And nobody knew about this until the next day.
Of course.
When we had already gotten the authorization from the kid to fix the rodent damage on his car.
Wow.
That's what it was.
Okay. The kid had no problem repairing the rodent damage, and he said he even, I could see the text message thread between the service advisor and the customer on their little program thing like Jake has. And thank you so much for getting me in and out. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and that's the timer. Go ahead and fix the repairs. It's not a problem. Thank you so much for getting me in. And we had it done the next day for him, and he picked it up the next day. I mean, it was in and out of the dealership in less than 24 hours. So from that point, it just spiraled out of control. The woman retweeted in or texted or yelped or whatever she did, hassling more complaints, and then she got onto the website and starts asking.
Don't chuck it across the room.
You're just all.
I don't know what that is. Anyway, so and we're still doing fine on time.
It's not this.
Maybe it's Eric coming back in. I think it's Eric. Oh my God, it is Eric.
And it
it's
sounds
Eric.
fantastic.
And
Hi.
it sounds so much better.
God, you sound
We gotta
amazing.
turn Eric down a little bit. He's
Hello.
Eric,
Dude, how did you,
you're not in the
whatever it is,
video,
don't
but-
touch a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I restarted the computer.
Your mic
Wow,
sounds
that's
amazing.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes, Mike, you do
Maybe
sound
it's just
amazing.
my sultry voice.
Oh,
It is that.
baby.
So
It's everyone's
I was
post-COVID
massaging
voice.
my nipples, waiting in temptation.
Oh my God,
Massaging
Daddy.
your apples.
we're in the middle of the Mustang Kid Angry Yelp Mom story.
Oh God.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's fun.
So, at this point, we'd already fixed the car. The vehicle's already been returned back to the kid. Everything should be hunky dory, but the mom is still trying to get answers from us.
Sure.
And she's asking to talk to somebody at the dealership, and she's trying to do that through the website, which, as you described, when you write into the website and it says Frank is typing, that's not Frank on the other end.
Right.
Right.
So, she's getting answers back and forth, and she's getting more upset. And so when finally someone...
Man, you are arguing with an AI.
But they
it's
don't
not
know.
it's-
Oh, I know.
That wasn't an AI conversation. It starts off as AI, but then there's other, people
Somebody
logging in.
picks up on it.
So, but when somebody calls back because they requested to talk to a manager, when somebody calls back in and it's not the person that she was talking to, Frank, she gets even more suspicious and says, well, now you're lying to me. How come I was talking to Frank? I want to talk to Frank.
Yeah, where the fuck is
God.
Frank?
Jesus, you're crazy.
So we ended up sending it off to one of the managers up front and just, hey, can you please take care of your customer
Here,
and
deal with this,
Yeah,
sure.
deal with this.
Can you
we didn't have
please
time, so.
put a leash on Karen?
But yeah, I mean, that was like
Ooh.
super interesting. Super
All
interesting.
Karens deserve a leash.
Shot collar.
Some Karens like leashes.
This is true. You're not wrong.
Shot
We call
collar
that
make you
fork to me,
holler.
boys
Oh,
and
fuck, that
girls.
So we will pick back up after these brief commercial messages, and
Oh
it's
God!
gonna.
Is it time to pee?
It is.
It's time.
and it's going to start.
Well, you already took your pee break, Eric.
Yes, and it's going to start
Yes.
with Allie being accountable for her actions.
Oh,
Is it?
when we come back.
When we come
When
back.
we come back, you'll
Actually-
see how accountable I
Actually,
was.
we could. Is that a long one? We have time. We're only at like 30 minutes in realistic time.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's go.
Well,
Do it.
looking at the second half, is that going to be enough to kill 30 plus
Yes,
minutes?
it is.
Oh,
Okay.
shot.
I think
it
so.
will.
That's, yeah,
Okay, then
we're
go
gonna-
for it.
We're gonna be fine.
Okay, so
This is fucking gay.
we
Hi.
hot dog real bad.
listen. We're allies here, you guys.
We're
okay.
allies.
You can
So-
turn
oh,
Eric
look at
up a
that.
smidge if you can.
So
Hi. I'm Smidge.
Sounds like his sound got
I
crappy
made a
again.
mistake recently, and
Stop making mistakes.
and
You
you know, I don't mean to like toot my own horn, but I don't
Toot, motherfucker.
but yeah, toot bitches. I don't make that many mistakes, like big mistakes.
You do not. You are pretty much flawless in what you do.
And so I
And in many other ways.
Yes.
had a service writer contact
Got
me
the
and tell me,
3,000.
hey, we have to initiate a rental authorization. And because of that, I was waiting for some information, which was specifically a sales doc number, so I could input that in the authorization form. And so I had written the RO number and needs sales doc number. And
You need
that
some sales
Say that
doc.
5 times fast.
sales doc number, sales doc number, sales doc number, sales doc number, sales doc
I
number.
was
Sounds
hoping you were
like
going to
she
say
said
sales cock
stock.
or something.
I thought it sounded like she said sales stock number.
Sales cock.
So
Would you like some sales doc?
in this trying time.
Oh God.
And so what I had done is I had written that sticky note, and then
I thought you said it was on your calendar.
Nope. Well, the sticky note was stuck
attached
on my
to your
calendar,
okay.
but it was on my desk calendar,
Which is underneath a bunch of bullshit.
which means that after a period of time,
Which
it
is 20
got
minutes.
buried with other very important things that I needed to do. And that was back on July 18th.
Oh boy.
So the customer has been in a rental vehicle at $40 a day since July 18th, and I do not have authorization for this.
Oh my.
And I just found out.
Shit.
Yep. And the service writer had called me today and said, hey, I see this document for Ortiz.
The sales
Have you
doc.
gotten the authorization? And I'm like, yeah, that name seems familiar, because I had gone through like our special order
Right.
Google sheet that we
Doc
have.
sheet, yeah.
Yeah, Google Doc. And I looked it up like 3 days ago. I looked it up. The RO is written all in customer pay, and there's no line for a rental on it.
Oh my God.
So I moved on.
Oh,
But it
fuck.
wouldn't have mattered, you guys, because even if I caught it 3 days earlier, I only have 10 days from the day that the customer went into the rental. So I fucked up. And I go down and have a meeting with my service manager, and I was like, this is not the service writer's fault. He told me about
which
it.
is fucking bullshit.
But I'm not gonna let listen, all fucking day when I'm trying to find accountability for a specific action, everyone is pointing everywhere else. And I'm not gonna be that person. I fucking did it. I told him I did it.
Was
So
there-
he says,
was there
you
a
need to go
line?
talk to the owner.
Was there a
You
line?
need to tell him what you did.
Was there a line on the RO for it?
For the rental?
Correct. Was
No.
there? Then it is the service advisor's
service
fucking
advisor.
fault.
And, if we're going to go into it, it's also the service manager's fault. He should be, but it's all of our fucking fault. And I'm just saying, this is my part in it. I take pride in my work, and I need to take accountability for my part that I know I screwed up, and let those people know. Now, luckily, we have another authorization that went through for a loaner, and we hadn't been putting loaners in, only rentals, so we could recoup the actual money that comes out of the dealership's pocket.
Right.
And that's going to be equitable. Yeah, it's going to equal
gonna
what this
wash.
other one is. So it's going to recoup the money. And, how I sold it to my manager or to the owner on the bright side was that, here's 5 things that I've changed about the process. And that's going to ensure that things go a little smoother from here on out. So that's how I fucked up and how I was accountable. So all you fuckers listening, you better be accountable for your shit too.
And now that she's explained that, but once again, and Eric, you weren't here for the analogy where we were talking about one-time use parts and the fact of saying that the techs were all like, oh, well, it's the parts department's fault that this and blah, blah, blah. And the parts manager goes, Allie, I'm going to give you an analogy. When you go to the store because you want to make spaghetti, is it the store's fault if you forget the fucking marinara sauce?
No.
Exactly. So now that you've told that story, I fall back to that. Is at the very beginning, and especially with me, because like you said, at the very beginning, with me being a service advisor, and I take pride to make sure that things are right from the get-go. I make sure that the RO is written properly, it's coded properly, whatever the case is. The fact that there was no fucking line to begin with means that that is the service advisor's fault. That the very beginning, the blocks, the essential start of
It wasn't on the shopping list.
Perfect. But at the very beginning, the building blocks of a repair start from the customer concern and what is on the legal document to move forward.
Preach.
I agree with Jake 100%. I really
Period.
do. That should have started with the service advisor. That's
Allie,
where it
you
should
are the
have been.
last line of defense, theoretically. Yes, you have some powers, at the end, but you are the last line of defense to make sure that all the, I's are dotted and T's are crossed and everybody's followed the procedures that were already set in place of their jobs,
If I give you an army and everybody has a
Well, but
rifle,
you
but I
guys
have
have to
no
realize-
ammo, that's not your fault. Everybody dies.
Fair.
Okay, that's that's extreme.
I mean, it is extreme, but it's a fair comparison. Sorry, Allie, you have no argument here. None whatsoever.
Well,
Sorry.
I'm proud of you for
You're a beautiful, perfect person.
I'm proud.
Thank you, but
I'm proud
nobody's
of you for
nobody's nerfic, Eric.
Just
go.
as Mary Poppins says, perfect in every way.
Oh
Practically
my
perfect.
fucking god, you guys!
Thank you. Mike corrected me on something Disney. Oh my god.
No,
I'm so proud
Eric.
of you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Good
So,
job.
Literally, when I was
Literally.
explaining to my service manager what had happened, he said exactly what Eric just said.
What, just
So
a spoonful of
which
sugar
part?
makes the medicine go down?
He said that you're perfect, and I said nobody's perfect, and he said you're perfectly perfect in every way.
I really.
and
So this is the second time I've been compared to Mary Poppins today, and to me that's a win.
So two things
Well,
before
if you're
we go
hearing
to
it multiple times, then it must be true.
So two things before we go to break. Number one, however, I am proud of you for going to the owner and bringing it to his attention up front. That takes balls. And
I didn't cry
and
in front of the owner.
She cried like a baby when she got into the car with me, though.
Because I felt bad because I don't make those mistakes. So like I beat myself up.
I can
a little
relate
bit.
to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can
but
relate.
second, would you like to tell the joke that you told the owner before you broke him the bad news?
Do it.
Okay, so Eric,
And then we'll go to break.
Yes, ma'am.
why did the chicken cross the road? Hello.
To get to the other side, I don't know.
It was to get to the idiot. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Chicken.
Chicken who?
It's you. You're the idiot. Do you get the joke?
No, I don't get it at all.
I shouldn't have done that to Eric. I should have done it to someone else.
I don't get it.
Yeah, because the chicken is getting to the other side. Okay, and you're on the other side. You're the idiot. I said knock knock. Who's there?
Oh, that was a bit of a reach. I'm sorry.
It was.
Anyways,
it was
we
funny
need to
when she
thank our
did it. It was funny when she
sponsors.
did it to me yesterday because I fell for it and I felt like a dumbass.
He was the idiot.
Not hard to achieve.
We need,
Oh boy.
It
we need
made
to thank Travis Ferris from Hit Distributing
That's
for
your
supplying
cue to
us with
shut
Justice
up.
Brothers products.
This is your cue to not get late anymore. Anyways, we'd also like to thank Ray Moon from El Ranchito Taco Shop in Lake Elsinore.
And we'd
For his creamy guac.
We'd
So
also like
creamy.
to thank Nick Lowrich from Macco Tools. We didn't thank Nick, right?
No, not yet.
Okay,
No,
thanks,
we
Nick.
did not.
Thanks,
And
buddy.
thank you, Dale Follett, and everyone else.
Dickie
We'll be
Dale
right
Follett.
back.
And Bruce Vane.
Hi, Mike Sarah here from Customer States. If you're searching for the highest quality additives, lubricants, or cleaners for your automotive, heavy equipment, agricultural, or industrial machinery needs, look no further than the Justice Brothers line of products. From lubing your chainsaw, performing a complete fuel system treatment and decarb service on a customer's vehicle, keeping that forklift forking and lifting, or just need a can of that famous JB80 penetrant to persuade a rusty bolt, Justice Brothers has you covered. Travis Ferris of Hit Distributing is not only Southern California's authorized Justice Brothers distributor, but also a great friend of mine. Over the years, Travis has helped me and my dealership with anything and everything we need, including all the lines of Justice Brothers products and even equipment to perform the various services we may need for our specific application. HIT stands for honesty, integrity, and trust, so you know when you contact Travis, that's exactly what you'll get. That, combined with Justice Brothers supplying superior quality automotive products since the 1940s and 75 years in the racing industry, you will have absolutely everything at your disposal to get the job done. Justice Brothers is proudly made in the USA, and they have a satisfaction guarantee or your money back. Justice Brothers has the best quality products over any other competitor, and they'll gladly tell you that themselves. If you live in the Southern California area, call my man Travis Ferris at 805-208-7818. And if you don't, call him anyway and tell him I said thanks. And visit justicebrothers.com to learn more about their complete line of products. Justice Brothers, America's brand for quality.
Boop, 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 boop.
You came a little bit early there.
Yeah, it happens. Just let the veins of Bruce play.
It's the remix, bitches.
All right. Well, those were beautiful vocal stylings.
Of Madame,
Who was styling the vocals?
of Madame and Deep Throat.
I did it. I knew it was it this
That's
time,
me.
you guys. Oh my god, he's be so proud of me.
All right, everybody, here's a beverage.
Wow, that was rude. I wasn't even ready for that.
Well, it's okay. Now you're spotlighted, and I heard
Okay.
it.
Oh, I forgot to shake it again. God damn it.
Oh, God. You need a like a chopstick to like. Oh my god, Jacob put Koa's. God, I keep doing that.
No, you got it right that time.
You said Koa.
Koa. I keep thinking I'm saying Kono.
Yeah, no,
Anyways,
Koa.
Koa's little toy. That's a
And she's-
little chipmunk.
And she's staring at me so cute. Like,
So
"Can
thanks
I have
for
my
listening
toy?"
through those messages, you guys. We really, really appreciate you.
I know not a single
And thank you for
fuckers
listening to our
listen to it.
bullshit.
Yes. And thank you for just being awesome people. You know, thanks for listening to this garbage. But it is
We have to
Friday.
tell you that's what we really appreciate about you.
That's really what we appreciate about you. So I'm gonna, like I do sometimes, I'm gonna peel back the curtain of the podcast.
Peel back the skin.
And
Foreskin.
okay, let everybody know
Don't
that
roll your eyes, Mike. That's probably the first bad thing that's been said all podcast in terms of
Yeah,
us.
the hashtag and sell that bell,
It was the
bitch.
analogy. It was the analogy. It was amazing. I just wasn't expecting it.
so I
To,
guess
to our real quick, Allie, before you
Okay.
start, I'm sorry. To our
No, it's
listeners, I
fine.
apologize for the background noise. I'm with my family right now off-site, and
Hi,
so
family.
I'm trying to keep it to a minimum.
to a dull roar, if you will.
You're doing great, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know.
And you'll have to apologize, Allie. She hasn't had cigarettes in weeks.
Yeah, I stopped smoking cigarettes, but
We
I'm
both
still
did.
smoking my vape, so I don't know what's
You
going
look
on.
like shit.
Well, you smell like shit.
Listen here, Marv. If you don't give me my fucking marbles, I'll tear off your fucking wig.
This ain't enough. Make it enough.
I hope you
No,
guys can
nobody-
pick up on this because I don't remember what I was talking about because I have more ADD than the rest of you guys.
You were gonna peel back the foreskin.
We're gonna peel back the curtain of the podcast and let y'all know that
Hi, Kevin.
we have been teased, Jake and I personally, because if you're new here, Mike and Eric work at the same dealership. Jake and I also work at the same dealership, but different dealerships from
Separate,
Mike
but
and
equal.
Eric. Oh, no. Let's not do that. No. I do not condone. I do not condone.
And we all bicker with one another, partners like we're married.
Yes. So,
Wait, we're not married.
we have been teased pretty hard about some.
It's been nothing but tip, and I need
We
some
call that
fucking
edging,
girth.
ladies and gentlemen.
We've been edged pretty hard about something of which I do not.
Last episode, okay?
We don't know what the fuck is going on. Mike has some topic. It's called shop changes, ellipses.
It's so funny. I almost put ellipses in parentheses.
Oh my
after
god, you
that.
should have. We
Oh,
haven't done that in a
God,
while.
yeah.
I'm kind of glad
You wouldn't have
that
allowed it
stopped.
to happen.
Okay. So
And
Look
Eric,
at that
you know
fucking
what's
smile
happening,
on his
right?
face. Look at that smile on his goddamn face.
just because I've been waiting to
my
like tell this
God.
story to somebody, and again,
How upset would you be if somebody already told us?
I wouldn't be really upset at all because you're not the only person that I'm telling it to right now.
We have no idea. I just wanted to see.
I'm like, did someone tell you, Jake? And I don't fucking know about it.
I just like seeing the joy leave Mike's eyes.
So
I think we all secretly get off on that.
at our dealership, effective Tuesday, this Tuesday, our service manager had resigned our dealership.
Why?
For greener pastures.
So sad.
Why do I
Yeah.
feel it's not for greener pastures?
Well, I mean, there's always greener pastures out there.
Yeah, but why would she fucking leave? That's my point.
'Cause
It's not
the better
greener
offer.
pastures.
Better offer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fuck it.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
Bottom line.
That's the version that I'm going with.
I feel like Miss.
Okay, why are you shaking your head?
So go on with your story.
So our service manager resigned and left the dealership for greener pastures. And when we got our new general manager in, this was kind of a sudden thing. So,
Wait, so your general manager is stepping in as.
no, we got a new general manager.
Oh, that's okay. Yes,
And
yes.
our old service manager, and now our former service manager resigned. She's, stepped away to go do different things. And basically, the next day when it was made, when he found out, I was told by the service manager as she was leaving that she said, I'm recommending you to take over my position in the dealership. And I look at her and I kind of laugh. I'm like, well, what? She's like, yes, blah, blah, blah. I think you're the only person really that can like do it or like cares about the shop, all this kind of stuff. And
What?
yeah. And so I said, that's very nice. I don't know that I'm really ready for it yet. And she says, no, like you'd be an idiot to try and I'm recommending you'd be an idiot to step away from this opportunity. Just, do it. I'll be here for you. You can call me whenever you want, blah, blah. I said, okay, well, thank you. And, he's like, and she's like, just expect to have a meeting with him at some point. I said, okay, fine, whatever. I'm just, I'm sure she was being nice and just expecting, to say the nicest things that she can to the new guy coming in. And then
Instead of like, you're fucked.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
About 2 hours later, I get a phone call from the parts manager, and he calls me into his office, and I'm like, okay, he needs help with something or whatever. I'm still, doing all that stuff for the parts department. And he closes the doors, and I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? He's like, well, I've heard the rumor that the service manager is gone now, and I just want to let you know that I'm gonna be recommending you to be the service manager.
Number 2.
Because I know that as soon as he finds out that she's gone, he's gonna call me, the parts manager, and ask me to take over the service department for now until they can find a replacement. And he, the parts manager does not have the time and doesn't know the service side of it. So he asked me if it was okay if he recommended me. And I said, she literally just said this 2 hours ago to me. Like, this is hilarious. I said, yeah. And, we had a pretty long discussion about logistics and things like that and support groups and stuff. And I said, listen, I'm not looking to get into the service manager position. I will help run the shop until we find somebody. But I don't want to be the service manager. I don't know enough. I was never in a close enough position to know the numbers side of it. I know how to run the shop. I know what the shop needs. I know how to improve efficiency. I know all that kind of stuff. But I don't know the numbers side of it. So
well, I guess everyone has to start somewhere. Like everyone was new at some point.
So I tell the parts manager, I said, that's fine, and then when it happens, you can tell him whatever you want. I'm sure he's got his own plans already, but you can tell him whatever you want. So about another 2 hours later, I get a phone call from the parts manager, and I get called back into the office, and he says, oh, hey, by the way, I just got a call from the new GM, and he says that he wants to meet with you tomorrow.
Oh, my fucking... So what do you feel at this point?
I fucking can't.
Eric hates this.
No, we're gonna get Eric's opinion.
Eric has not voiced any opinions on this. This is pure speculation on Michael's part.
So this is not set in stone.
Well, I'm not done with the story yet.
Okay, well, keep going.
So the next day comes around.
He's talking, Ellie.
The next day comes around. Thank you for mouthing that, by the way, Allie.
Oh,
She said,
vacuum.
"Fuck you."
I said vacuum.
Very good. That's TV appropriate.
Yes.
So the next day, I get a phone call from the parts manager. He's like, come to my office. And again, I'm not thinking that anybody's really said my name for anything at all, let alone service manager, right? And I get a phone, come into my office. I'm thinking he's got a question about parts or something like that. Just like we normally talk to each other all the time. He says, all right, it's showtime. I'm like, what? He's like, yep, we're going over to the office. I'm like,
what?
Oh my God. Like, I'm kind of dirty still from like working on a car. I'm like, okay. So we walk into the GM.
I'm kind of upset that you've kept this secret for so long. Okay.
So we walk into the GM's office, and literally every single manager from the dealership is sitting in a chair around the general manager, and they're literally all looking up at me. I mean, it was like you couldn't write a more iconic scene of like deer in the headlights. I thought it was going to be like a one-on-one with like, me and the new GM and the parts manager, right? But no, it's every single manager from the dealership is sitting in that office.
Oh my God.
And
not stressful.
No, not at all. And so, they invite me to sit down, which, was kind of hard because I was shaking so hard. And
oh my God.
Anyway, so we had a conversation. We were talking about stuff and this, that, and the other. And essentially, they offered me a pretty good position and, the ability to help the dealership out. They were kind of appalled of the fact that I wasn't getting compensated for the shop foreman position before, and which is the reason why I stepped down.
So they had no idea that had happened, or they're just playing dumb.
I had mentioned in some of my accolades at the time that, which I didn't mention, that I was actually also a certified service manager, but I mean, that's neither here nor there.
Well, that's a new thing you have to add.
But I had said, well, I was the shop foreman, and like that was my title in, the Ford system, and I was doing shop foreman duties, but not only was I not getting paid for that, I was actually losing money because I was getting, I'm hourly, or not hourly, I'm flat rate. So I'm supposed to be in my stalls working, but when I'm doing this, that, and the other in the shop that I can't flag for, where's my efficiency? And that's why I stopped, because I kept getting yelled at for efficiency when I'm getting called to do all these other things. I mean, we've talked about this before, and they just, they're all looking at each other. They just couldn't believe this. And like, we're going to write this for you. We're, in 24 hours, we're going to have a new pay plan for you, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. The other night he called me up and asked me if I can go interview, people for different positions around the entire dealership, just because he wants my information, my input. I mean, I'm receptive to what he has to say, but I'm also, kind of taking it with a grain of salt. Everybody wants to come in and make changes and all this kind of stuff. And I just kind of figured that if people are going to be making changes to the place that I put my literal blood, sweat, and tears into for the last 15 years, I'd like to be able to, get in somebody's ear and recommend the changes to actually make our dealership work. And if I can introduce myself in a way that somebody will trust me, then that's kind of the best way to do it, from the beginning, because he's coming in blind. And now, now the two existing managers have both recommended me, and I've told him all my accolades, and I've told him all this, and I've told him how long I've been here, and I've told him, all this stuff. Hopefully he'll listen to me if he tries to make a change that isn't going to jive with the rest of the shop or is going to be detrimental to the shop. Hopefully he'll listen to me. I mean, ultimately it's his choice in the end, and whatever new service manager comes in, whatever their choices are. But if I'm in a position where they listen to what I say, or at least have, at least would listen, let alone if they do it, but at least would listen to what I have to say.
You feel like you got a soapbox now a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, they trust me. He's already called me on my personal time. He called me at like 6:30 at night. Like I've already been off of work for 2.5 hours. Like I'm gone, by the end of the day. Well, no, maybe it's 2 hours, but at that point.
Well,
anyway.
You're never off if you're on salary.
No. Well, and again, that's one of the things. I have a bunch of stipulations. If he's going to show me a pay plan, I want to have all this, that, and the other.
Has anything been presented yet?
No.
I was just about to ask, are you service manager or not?
I'm waiting. I guess we're all waiting until next week to hear. He's been out of town doing because he's responsible for multiple of the dealerships all across the area. So
I'm hearing that pending their pitch of your pay plan and you saying yes or no, basically.
Let me get this perfectly crystal clear again. I would love to be a service manager at some point in my career. That isn't going to be right now. I don't mind running the shop, but I don't want to be the service manager right now.
But it sounds like you're going to be the service manager right
Perhaps
now, if only temporarily.
Interim service manager or acting service manager until we can hire a reasonable candidate.
You know that's not how that works, right?
I'm not going to be put in a position to fail because I was never allowed to see all of that stuff before. So,
you know that's not how that works.
How what works?
What do you mean?
There is no such thing as an interim. Once you take that, they'll keep you. They will not hire someone else.
Oh no, they know perfectly well that I do not want.
Doesn't
to do
matter
that right now.
Doesn't matter what you want.
Well, it's going to be in the contract or whatever that
matter.
I'm not.
Because if he doesn't want to do it,
my biggest thing, first of all,
they're not going to say no. I want to pay you less money. They're not going to do that.
But so if he starts as interim and they give him the pay, and then they come back, Mike would not say no if they go, you're going to be our new service manager. There's no fucking way you would do that.
Can I just say that I'm not really ready to turn up my wrenches, turn in my wrenches?
I was going to ask you about that. So, that means you don't get to work on cars anymore.
In all of the people that I've talked to, multiple technicians across the United States and in Canada, multiple service managers from multiple different areas, friends, family, this, that, the other, my biggest thing that I keep saying, like my mantra now is like, I would love to be, the full-time shop foreman or an assistant manager or service manager someday. I just didn't think it was going to be tomorrow. I'm not really ready yet. So that's one of my biggest hang-ups. Is this like having kids?
Like, is this something that you're never really ready for? You know what I mean?
You sound like everyone I've talked to. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Well, all those other people sound amazing.
I'm happy for you, but it makes me fucking angry that you don't want to jump at this because mine was taken away.
I don't want to be put in a position for immediate failure because I was never given access to see all the stuff that I need to know. So I'm coming in completely blind. I know a lot of stuff. Again, like I said, first of all, that the way to run that service department is with two people running the service department. You have either a service manager and an assistant manager, or a service manager and a shop foreman / assistant manager, or something like that. And I would be in the latter role, and I would love to take care of the shop and the customers and like all that kind of stuff, and I'd finally get paid for it. But I also want the ability that if I've caught up on all my shop foreman stuff, my toolbox is right over there. I'd love to go turn some wrenches and bust out a trans job or something like that when I have some time. I wasn't ready to like be a full-time anything other than wrenching, and I still have to worry about my boys in the department. So it's like there's a lot of moving parts and pieces in this thing, and as excited as I am, I'm also nervous. Nobody likes change, and this may be the best change in my life, but it's still change.
Yeah, change is
one
always
day
scary.
at a time.
Yes.
You're thinking way too far down the road. You need to take this one day.
I would just fucking shove my dick right the fuck into it and go for it.
Calm the fuck down. You're not going to be set up for failure. They're not
I got to
allow
even
that
see
to
what
happen.
they offer me. I mean, they could say, "Hey, thanks for your advice, but just go back to turning wrenches," and I'd be like, "Okay, see you later."
Okay,
and
then
just
so
move on.
yeah,
So it's
exactly.
like,
So one day at a
nothing's set in
time.
stone.
Stop thinking that you're going to fail, because when you do think you're going to fail, you are going to fail.
Oh no. I know I have
the
this,
energy,
but I'm
you
not ready.
Shut up. You receive the energy that you put out there. So if you go in there with a positive attitude that you're going to rock this and kick ass, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Stop thinking that all these bad things are going to happen, that you don't know what the fuck you're doing just because you've never been in that position or even close to that position before. You need to go in with a positive attitude that you're going to learn and you're going to absorb all of the information you can so that you can do the best job that you're capable of in that position. Period.
I'm still so happy for Alex, but this conversation makes me so fucking angry.
And the biggest
He's
thing
not being service manager at you, Jake.
Oh, I'm not. No, I'm not. It's just, yeah. I'm stoked for you, man. I hope you jump at it.
It's scary though. Like,
well, the other thing too is that
it's not scary. It's
I don't think
the unknown.
It's hard for me. I don't think that way. That's why it's,
I know. I know you don't.
That's
think
why
that
it's
way.
difficult for me.
Well,
With me hearing that, I will
taking dangers and risks and stuff.
I will dig my dick so far into the dirt and be the best.
Those are words.
Fucking everything I can.
It's about fucking time.
Yes.
Oh, what a great soundbite, you guys.
Well,
Yeah.
best of luck to you.
Amen.
All right. It was nice knowing you.
How do you feel? Like, are
See you later.
happy? See you later.
Eric's being a queen right now.
Why that?
How do you feel about it, Eric?
Yeah, I know.
I'm indifferent.
Indifferent?
It's not true.
Yeah. Again, I have not voiced any kinds of opinions or
Which is what
concerns
scares me.
regarding this whatsoever. So everything that comes out of his mouth is pure speculation.
Why does that scare you? He's letting you be a beautiful butterfly.
I don't know. I feel like just because of how kind of lapsadaisical and you know, I can be a stickler at times. Like, you know, people in the shop may think that this is a joke or whatever, but I'm seriously legit just trying to help out the dealership. I've spent 15 years, again, like I said, 15 years of my life at the same place with some of the same people, a lot of new faces, but I've known them for longer than I've been there. And that's now my new family because they're still there and they're still my family. And, again, like I said, if somebody else is going to come in, a new face with, no prior experience, doesn't know the shop, doesn't know the people, and they're going to try and start making all these changes without having somebody to talk to, that's crazy. Why can't I be that somebody to talk to? And that's kind of all I'm trying to do. They offered me these things. Mm-hmm. All I was trying to do was like tell them my accolades and say, hey, listen, I can do this. And that's when all like, well, what do you mean you were the shop foreman? And, and I said, well, I can help run the service department while we're, looking for somebody. I don't mind helping out. I want to be here to help and, make sure that this place doesn't go under while you're looking for somebody.
I'm just really confused as to how they didn't know that you weren't being compensated for the work that you were doing. I just don't
honestly
understand.
think that was just a bunch of bullshit. First of all, the other managers, it's none of their business. That would have never been discussed with them in the first place. But this new guy, I honestly feel that it's bullshit on his part, and he's putting on a face that he didn't know. I really do. I expect that the other managers didn't know because that's not their place.
They don't know anything about the service department.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So,
but the GMs
for the head honcho to not know, he's full of shit.
But he's only been there. He's only been there for
what?
How long, Eric? Like a couple weeks, a month, maybe. I mean, he may not know all the numbers yet.
Yeah, but running all those other shops,
I know for a fact he knows. I know for a fact he knows.
And speaking of which, and being a family and wanting to help out, cough, Alex, because you'll hear this episode. Where the hell are my business cards saying assistant service director?
He's assistant to the regional manager.
Jesus.
Assistant too.
I know you'll hear this, Alex. Hello?
Oh, really is the timer.
I've never heard that before.
Oh,
thank you.
Yes, we have. And you said that the last time that he did that too.
And then when it happens again, he'll be like, oh my God.
You ever seen that movie Groundhog Day?
Well, Mike, I'm really proud of you.
Congrats no matter what.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. It's clearly something that means a lot to you. Like Eric says, I second him. Day by day, take it step by step. If you get too far ahead of yourself, you're going to sabotage yourself. And I feel like we're similar in some senses like that. Like we hold ourselves to a certain esteem, and you can get in your head and just take it day by day. You're going to do great, whatever it's going to be.
I know, and I mean, when I had,
and don't let it get to your head like other fucking managers. Not you, Alex.
When I had the first meeting, the parts manager took me aside after we'd left the office. The parts manager took me aside and said, like, dude, you killed that meeting. You said
Really?
Yeah, he's like, you said all the right words. You should have seen their faces, like, because I was making eye contact with the GM the whole time. He's like, you should have seen the other guys' faces light up as they were like looking around, and you said everything that the GM wanted to hear, and it wasn't that I was just trying to say what he wanted to hear. That's how I feel about the dealership, and that's what I do at the dealership. Good. So I'm hopeful that I can advance my career. I just, again, like I said, I didn't think it was going to happen tomorrow. I wasn't quite ready to stop wrenching, but we'll see. Maybe they'll let me be a salaried working shop foreman when I can. Like I said, I'll do all the foreman stuff, and when I have time, I'll still be able to turn wrenches. I don't want to pack up my toolboxes. I'm not ready yet.
Well,
so it looks like you have another hat.
Oh my, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see come Monday or whatever.
It's a pending hat.
A pending hat, yeah.
It's hanging on the wall. He hasn't picked it off yet. Hashtag sell the belt.
Oh, by the way, I got to hang up my senior master plaque in the showroom again.
No. Oh God! Shut up.
No.
Well, oh, I'm sorry. Did I throw that in there, Eric?
Yeah.
You can have one too if you try real hard.
No, it's not even about that. Stop. Just stop.
Anyway, so we have a little joke on the board.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of the whole situation. The whole situation was a joke, to be honest. But did you guys know that I actually used to work for an orange juice company?
I feel like you told me that.
Yeah, I did. Unfortunately, it never worked out because they fired me because I couldn't concentrate.
Oh my
God! You just couldn't handle. You just couldn't handle the squeeze.
Couldn't handle the squeeze.
So speaking of squeezing and management changes,
they just beat him to a pulp.
Hashtag sell the belt.
Jake is upset. It's the same. Actually, it's the same face when I said knock knock. Who's there, chicken? Okay.
We need a GM.
We need a GM. So.
Or should I apply for that job too?
Please don't.
Someone should.
Please don't.
And if not a GM, the idea of working as a team, or what a GM would do if it was owned by.
There's no cohesion to the independent departments,
right?
And I feel like that's what a GM would do.
Right, like I said, if we were owned by a corporation and not a family, where there is one person that essentially, like you said, is the glue that holds all the departments together to make sure that if something goes loose, it's tied back up. But like you said, it's like with you and the service manager on the Volkswagen side and how that's real loose. Thankfully, you've got Alex on our side, which is definitely tightened things up. I try and keep the shop tight on my end as being assistant manager. That once my cards say that, but to hold that tight where Alex has more time to help you to keep that, where I keep the text calm, I make sure the other riders are staying in line, I make sure that the techs are happy, that the customers are happy. If something is missed, I take care of it to make sure it's still going. But then you have the other side where it's very loose on that aspect, where you guys don't have an assistant manager, where it is left to the vice of.
We barely have a full service team.
Right. So that's the thing. But besides the idea behind having the GM is Allie, in one of her conversations that she had with the owner not too long ago, is that he wants her to take charge and take more responsibility in the sense of acting like a manager. So
grab your balls.
She has gotten the blessing from the owner, and borderline has been told, you are a manager. You no longer have to ask for permission. You quote, quote, have a boss, but you do not have a boss. You need something done, you come to me and let's make it happen.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Which is huge.
Wow, that's like the soundbite of the episode right there.
So it's like hearing that from the owner is fucking huge. And I told Allie that.
And then you go to the owner and say, oops, oopsie, I lost you
But-
$2,000, but I have
it's-
another way to get it back.
But it's stuff like that, and at the same time, what she didn't add to that story is he goes, "You don't make mistakes, Allie."
Yeah, he did say that.
Word for word. He says, "You don't make mistakes." He's like,
Good.
"You're."
At least it's recognized.
He's like, "You're packed."
He didn't even like tell me off.
No, he's like, "You're busy. You need to take a breath and step back and recollect yourself." He's like, "You don't make mistakes."
The part that made me
The best-
so
best praise you can
upset,
get.
yeah, the part that made me so upset about what
and
he
I told her I would
said
kill for that opportunity.
was that he was like, "You need to slow down," and well, there was something else. You need to slow down,
You need to
and
basically you need to slow down and recollect yourself. You need to get back into
and
the
like
swing
you
of
lost your
things.
focus, and you need to whatever. Okay, and the thing is that I'm so busy. If I do, he's right. He's so right. I need to slow down and not spread myself so thin.
Yeah, spread.
But I'm also not allowed to work overtime. So if I slow
phrasing?
down, that's extra time that I'm not allowed to spend.
And
so it just feels like and that's a great
how
point
many-
to go back to him and be like, hey, you know, I need X amount more hours, or we need to restructure or whatever.
Oh my God, she listens to me.
See?
Well,
I've told her.
let's mark that down on the
Good
calendar.
thing
Yes,
it's on.
please.
It's recorded, Jake, so you
Yes.
can.
For posterity.
Yes,
Friday,
Mike will
August
make a soundbite of
26th
it.
at 9:21 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have proof that Allie actually listens to the shit that comes out of my mouth.
I'm glad you know the date. That's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Anyways, you know what they say, the squeaky wheel always gets
Shut
the grease.
the fuck up. Get the fuck out of this house.
You know what else is
Anyways,
leaky sometimes?
Eric, do you want to introduce this one? Do you know about this one?
Have you heard about this? Have you seen this?
I know a little bit about it. Do we have time?
It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
one of those
Yeah, we got
days. How much time?
Okay.
Minutes.
Well-
Huh?
Minutes.
Like I could spin off of this with something
It's-
with
Oh,
squeaky
yeah.
breaks? Okay,
Yes,
cool.
yes, for sure.
Toxic people marry toxic people. We'll start with that.
Oh, geez.
you know,
That's
Cu-
loaded.
cu- yeah.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
You know, there are some matches made in heaven, and we had a
And
couple
some made
customers
in
come
hell.
in. And we had a couple customers come in that they were an absolute pair, and their concern was that their brakes were squeaking. And Mike can go into the details now because the whole premise of the whole damn thing and why they originally came in, and then all of a sudden this just developed. It was one of those ever since type deals.
Okay.
Of
But,
course.
Mikey, you can take it away.
So the car's got like 90,000+ miles on
Oh,
it.
fuck me.
And
It's a young car.
for 2 or 3 service visits, they've been complaining about squeaky brakes. And every single time we measure the brakes, they're like 9 millimeters in the front. Then they go down to 8 millimeters in the front because they keep saying the squeaks from the front. And the rears are still obviously perfectly fine, like 9 or 10 millimeters or whatever the stock pad measurement is, 8 millimeters. So they keep coming in for the squeak, and the technicians drive the vehicle, they do the inspections, they pull the wheels off. They're looking for ways to make money, and they get frustrated when they can't find anything wrong with the vehicle.
Right.
So after the second time that it comes in, they're like, or the third time that it comes in, like, I don't know what you want me to do. I've spent so much time on this vehicle, we've never been able to duplicate it. Well, the customer's got a video of the noise happening. Great. What are the circumstances and the times and stuff? So anyway, we get a phone call, and a super angry phone call from the customer saying, I can't believe this, it's unsafe. I paid all this money for this extra warranty, because they have an extended service plan on the vehicle.
Okay.
And they want their brakes fixed because there's something wrong with the brakes. The brakes shouldn't be making this noise. I don't understand why they're making this noise. And we keep telling them everything's fine. Well, it's got to be something with the rotors. The rotors don't have any imperfections in them. They're measuring perfectly fine. There's no run out. There's no nothing.
Yeah.
And we can't even duplicate the noise. So, like, ever. So I get told that, as the almost shop foreman again, maybe, I don't know. I get told that I'm going to be road testing and fielding these customers. So the customers come down, and it starts off with, again, what's the concern with the vehicle today? So they're telling me about this noise, and they, I'm talking to the husband, and the wife's standing behind the husband, and the husband's talking to me, but the wife is angrily talking over him in the background, feeding him stuff to say to me, you're standing right there. You can just come talk to me if you want. But anyway, so they're very, very agitated at this point.
Okay.
So I'm trying to calm the situation down while assessing the situation, and essentially what they're talking about is that occasionally, at times, sometimes, intermittently, there will be
almost never.
Yeah, there'll be some sort of a squeak when you apply the brakes. Sometimes, on occasion, at times.
It's only after 3:30 on a Thursday, though.
Yeah, on every other Thursday of the second full moon of the third trimester of whatever. Anyway,
of the pregnancy.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, obviously intermittent concerns. Well, I know you guys have been trying to look at it, but I just don't understand. I paid all this money for this. I said, if there was something why can't you just replace the brakes? Well, I can't replace the brakes because unfortunately, under your service contract, we cannot replace brakes if they're not within our the minimum measurements to replace them.
I can't do anything.
I can't do anything
wrong.
I can't even do anything for a noise concern. It's not covered under their contract. It's only based on measurements. So do you mind going for a road test with me? Let's see if we can figure this out. So I go on a road test and I'm driving the thing around, and of course it is dead nuts silent. I can't hear a friggin' thing. So, but I'm trying to assess what, under the conditions that it's occurring and things like that. And I'm trying to hypothesize with them about what the potential things could be, whether or not it's normal or not. And so they're telling me that the wife drives the vehicle mostly, and the husband doesn't drive the vehicle. And the husband never really hears the noise, but the wife does. And it's usually
so
only
he's just
after,
backing her.
And it's usually under certain occasions, but those occasions are always different. So, I can't get anywhere. So I'm trying to tell them, like, well, sometimes there's surface oxidation on the rotors, and if we're doing light braking, then that surface oxidation transfers to the brake pads, and sometimes if we're still doing light braking, we never really get a chance to build up enough heat and friction to get all of that material back off and get new surfaces on the rotors and on the brake pads to get all that surface oxidation off. And the guy starts telling me, he's like, well, I used to work at a 76 station, and I've never heard of that. I said, well, brake pad quality and components have kind of changed over the years. He's like, oh, well, I guess I understand. I said, there's a lot more metal content in our brake pads with the friction material. I said, so it's possible that because we are doing light braking in the vehicle, and again, I'd sort of start saying all that, and by the end of the road trip, he's saying, oh, well, that does make sense. And I said, so it's not, and I'm not just talking about when you walk out to your car and you got dew on your car. I'm not talking about that, but when you park your car on the driveway and maybe it's facing the grass on one side and sprinklers come on, that's what the advisor was talking about when water is getting on. We're not talking about driving through puddles where it's like, overnight the sprinklers come on. Oh, you know what? That does make sense. Hey, honey, don't you remember when the sprinklers were, overwatering and they were just watering the whole side of the car?
Oh, that's great. Glad we're in a California drought.
That does make sense. So I get back to the dealership and I said, listen, it's, and I performed a few hard braking things, nothing crazy because they were both in the car and I just didn't want anybody to freak out. But
sure.
I said, let's try this.
Should have made them shit their britches.
Under safe circumstances, let's try a couple of spirited braking sessions and see if we can.
I like that. Can be another one. Spirited braking sessions.
Let's try that and let's see if we can braze the rotor and let's see if we can get that surface material to rebond with each other, clean up all that surface oxidation on there, and go from there. You might hear a few little squeaks here and there, but that's just what's going to happen as we are getting all that friction material reacquainted with the rotor surface. So they seem to be relatively happy with that. And I took a customer that
Did you charge them for diagnosis?
No, of course not. And I even did a visual inspection on the brakes in the service drive while I was there. But which again, were still virtually brand new brakes.
Gotcha.
But I was able to take a customer that was calling in and essentially screaming out at our personnel, and when they left, they were fine. And then the husband actually understood what I was saying because he's an engineer, and I'm using air quotes because he said that he's an engineer and he used to do whatever for airplanes and stuff like that. So he obviously knows about his brand new Edge brake pads and stuff like that.
They taught him that in architectural engineering
30 years ago. Yeah. So anyway,
aviation.
But yeah, I mean, it was just it was just wild. You know, I was able to take a dangerous situation and seemingly make it okay until they tell me no. Until we get the Yelp review and they say that I was condescending to them and everything like that.
Oh, right.
Even after,
because there's always that.
I always ask, you know, like, is there anything else? Oh no, thank you. You've been so helpful. You know, blah blah. And then you know we get the Yelp review. He was so condescending to me.
Right. He was mean to my son.
That's the nature of this business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I think we've reached the end of this episode.
I feel like we have to, but I do want to say before we go that sounds like, you know, manager material to me, Michael. You diffuse the situation.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but that was the second customer of the day today.
Yeah.
That I was able to do that to.
Well, as a manager, you're going to have mostly those kinds of customers because that's what gets escalated to the manager, right?
I seem to be relatively successful at it. So one day when I'm ready to take a managerial position,
Like
I'll be
Monday.
sure to try and apply that.
Give your balls a tug.
And on that note,
We thank you all for
thank you.
listening. And everybody send Mike
Nope.
well wishes.
Anyway.
But there it is. That's what
there
we've
it
all
is.
been
Thank
waiting
you.
for.
Yes. Yay.
Oh, I just want everyone to
Jake's
know
got
that.
a standing desk.
Yeah, Jake is like standing now. I feel like I want to do
Just
this too.
stay on the damn couch.
No,
Alana.
I'm gonna do
I
it.
said I
can't.
wanted to stand when
Mine's
we did
very
this.
firm.
It's great. It's much better for your.
Wait, what's firm? I want to feel it.
My microphone
Very
stand
diaphragm.
and my pelvis. Anyways,
Cool beans.
we would love for you guys to follow us on all of our social medias. Just search our Customer States podcast on
Pretty much everything.
Instagram, TikTokies, Facebook. You can reach us at Customer States Podcast at
Twitter.
gmail.com. Oh, no, don't do Twitter. We have one, but like I don't do anything with it.
At least
So
she's honest.
maybe say like, hey, no one's gonna read this. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, what else? We'd also like to thank
Get
give
our-
us money.
Our
Get our.
sponsors.
You can check us out at customerstatespodcast.com, where you can find our
Yes.
merchandise, all of our episodes, about us, pictures of us, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, definitely we want to thank our sponsors. Dale Fall at twistedbills.com.
The VIPs.
The VIPs. Thank
Yes,
you very
thank
much for
you,
supporting
guys.
us. All of our sponsors like Travis Ferris from Hit Distributing, supplying Justice Brothers products. Nick Lowridge at Matco Tools, supplying us Matco Tools. Ray Moon from El Ranchito Taco Shop, Lake Elsinore, supplying us delicious tacos and that creamy guac.
So creamy.
Yum.
And
We also need to wish Alan Grimsley a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Alan.
Happy birthday, Alan.
Alan.
And with that, we say
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Love you.
No, I love them.
You do. Even though you're not here in person, and that's fine, but you know, whatever. I guess you love them.
I tolerate all of you.
last one who talks has to take a shot of Malort.
Love you.
That's bullshit.
It'll be waiting for it when it comes back.
So
It's an
How great is that for the next episode,
yeah,
though?
that is good because he's gonna. You know you're gonna have to do that, right?
yes, of course.
Look,
I'm a woman of my word.
Okay.
Hi, this is Mike Sarah from Customer States. Matco Tools is one of the best tool companies in the industry, and Nick Lowridge is one of the best Matco tool distributors. Nick can get me anything I need for the shop or for at home. From oil drain pans to beef jerky, Nick's got what I need on tap. Nick works in the Thousand Oaks, California area, and you too can get whatever you need by calling him at 805-796-7323. And if you're not in that area, call him anyway and tell him you heard about him from the Customer States podcast. And then you can hop on to matcotools.com and find a Matco Tools distributor near you. Matco Tools. Service, trust, results.